Here we are. We're taking a look at example 4 in lesson 1-4. This example has two parts, A and B, and they want us to find the sum of the terms in this arithmetic sequence and then the sum of the terms in this arithmetic sequence. I actually want to do the red one first because it has an even number of terms. So I just want you to recall, those of you who were in class today, we did this method where instead of adding the numbers straight across, we would add 2 plus 22, 6 plus 18, 10 plus 14, noticing that that sum is 24 every time. So we basically have three pairs of numbers where each pair adds up to 24. So a quick way of doing that would be to say, okay, then I have 24 times 3, which is 12, carry the 1, 72. So that would be the sum of 2 plus 6, 10, 14, 18 to 22. With the one up here in blue, example 4, part A, notice that you don't have an even number of terms, so 1 buddies up with 13 to make 14, 4 pairs up with 10 to make 14, and then you might notice that this middle number, as long as the sequence is arithmetic, this middle number will always be half the sum of the first and the last. Okay, so even though we don't have an even number of terms here so that everybody has a buddy, it works out that we have 2.5 pairs of numbers that each add up to 14. You got the 14, and 7, which is half of 14. So we end up getting 35 here. And this shortcut where we're taking the first plus the last times half the number of terms, that's going to be the general formula for an arithmetic sequence or series. What I should mention at this point is this is called a sequence of numbers when you have a list, 2, 6, 10, 14, etc. It's called a series when you're taking that list and adding the numbers up. Okay? So basically, the list 2, 6, 10, 14 is a sequence. Adding them is what makes it a series. That's the only difference between the two terms, sequence and series. Okay? So let's get to that formula. It works like this. N is the number of terms. And what we're going to do to find the sum of n terms in an arithmetic sequence or arithmetic series, you're going to take the number of terms divided by 2 and then multiply by the sum of the first term and the nth or last term. This is the formula that you can use every time when you have an arithmetic series. So as you go to do the try it for example 4, I want you to think about that formula that I have highlighted there. In 4A, they tell you how many terms there are. They tell you what the first term is and what the 12th term is. So you can use that formula. And then in part B, they just list out the sequence. So go ahead and use that formula. Figure out how many terms there are, divided by 2 times the first plus the last. And that's it. You should be good to go, and we'll see you tomorrow.